Hi guys, this is Chef Deborah, and today, again, we are here for the Q&A with Chef Deborah. You know guys, I received one message, one of the followers sent a message to me, and he's asking what I do to my bread, what I did, why my bread is very nice texture, why my bread is not hard, why it becomes soft even I did not put any bread improver or any preservatives. Today I'm going to teach you what are the stages. There are 12 stages of bread making. So I want you to learn from this so that you will know what is the right process in bread making. Guys, bread making, there is a trick. You know, this is very hard to make than the cake. Bread making also, only one little mistake with the timings, little mistake in the mixing procedure, little mistake in the resting time, little mistake in overproofing. There is a big effect in your baked products. So in bread making, you must know the right process to produce a very nice and tasty breads. We'll go to the number one step in bread making. Number one is scaling. So what is scaling? Scaling is a mise en place. What is mise en place? As I've told in my previous video, mise en place is the preparation of all the ingredients that you need early in advanced preparation so that you did not forget anything of the ingredients. You need to prepare all the things that you need, all the ingredients you need before you start baking. This is what we call mise en place. And scaling means you have to scale. You scale accurately all your dry ingredients and liquid ingredients and put it in line according to what you need. For example, you have to put first the flour and then the egg and then this one. You have to put it in order so that you do not forget anything. I mean, when you are start baking or mixing your ingredients. And also, don't make mistake in weighing all your ingredients. Your weighing scale must be accurate. It's better to weigh your ingredients by the use of weighing scale than the measuring cup and measuring spoon. I recommended to use weighing scale to be exact the amount of what you need. So guys, I give you one tip and tricks about baking a bread. You know, when you are scaling, after scaling your ingredients, of course, you have to follow the recipe, right? But there is a time when you change your flour, when you change your brand of your flour, there is some difference of your dough. You know what? For example, before you are using done bread flour, which is nice. The dough is very soft. The dough is okay. The dough is good. But after you buy another brand of bread flour, it's coming different. The dough become hard. The dough become dry, not soft. So there is a difference effect with the dough if you change your bread flour. It depends on the flour that you are using also. And another thing, it also depends on the season. What do you mean it depends on the season? For example, winter season. For example, summer season. There is also effects in your bread. This is not same like a cake. Bread is very different. You know, in winter season, you need to add more yeast to your bread. But in summer season, you need to be exact. Follow only the recipe. There is some changes. Even in water, sometimes you need to add some little water more to adjust. For if you are a baker, you know already what is the softness, what is the texture of your dough. When I see only in my eyes, I know already there's something wrong with my dough. I only see in my eyes, I only touch the dough like this, I know there is a difference of my dough today. For example, I know already what is missing there. I know why coming hard like this, not soft today my dough. That's why you need to be, when you are a baker, you need to be, you need to be, what you call this? You need to be focused, or you know, think, and you feel also how your dough texture before. You know already, if you are baking this dough many times, you have to know what is the texture, what is the hardness of your dough, like this. So that there is any changes, for example, you mix it's coming more soft, coming more hard, you know already what is missing in your dough, because you need to adjust also the water sometimes of the dough. This is not same like a cake, that if you adjust or put another more water to the cake, it's coming different, the texture, or maybe it will throw to your garbage, you cannot eat also. That's the difference of bread making and baking a cake. Steps in bread making is mixing. What is mixing? Of course, to combine all your ingredients. There are 3 methods of mixing a dough. There is a straight dough method, there is a modified straight dough method, and the sponge dough method. There are 3 types of mixing procedure in making a dough or making a bread. This is a part of the mixing procedure, okay? And then, why we need to mix the dough? Of course, to combine all together, to form and develop protein in your dough. And of course, to distribute the cell of the yeast, because cell is this is the fungi. I mean, this is how there is a cell. This is alive fungi. The yeast is alive fungi. So they need to be distributed to your dough to make a bread very nicely and for the fermentation. Guys, how did you know that your dough is ready? Of course, there is a secret to know that your dough is already ready. Okay? You have to check the window pane test. Window pane test is when you stretch your dough and it's not coming whole. Not coming whole when you stretch your dough. Very elastic. You know, that's the time it was already ready. You know, me, I'm not rely on time during mixing. I'm not set my timer during mixing procedure. No. I'm not say it 40 minutes is done. I'm not say it's 30 minutes is done. No, I'm not always rely on time. Sometimes, because it also depends on the window pane test. If I see it's ready, even it's only 30 minutes, but in the recipe calls 40 minutes, I did not continue it until 40 minutes. This is a bread making. It's not same like a cake. You need to adjust. You need to know by yourself. You need to know by a chef itself if it's ready or not ready. That's why, guys, you know, preparation of the bread need to be professional. Who is preparing the bread? Who is baking the bread? If you don't know anything about the process, all your bread will be not become very nice texture. There is inconsistency. 100% there is inconsistency of your bread, because you know it depends on the hand of who is making. It depends on you. It depends on my hand. If I can make a very nice bread, but the other chef cannot. Not all chef is same. Not all people is same hand. Even you follow same recipe, but it depends on the people who handling the procedure. Yeah, this is not like a cake that anyone can do this one. Anybody can make a cake. Even my little child, even my 9 years old child can make a cake. She can bake a cookies as well. She knows. But in bread, she cannot do it easily. Nobody can do this easily in bread making unless you have special power in your hand. Always remember that, guys. Because even you have very nice recipe, if they don't know the right process, they don't know the techniques, they cannot do it. Really, that's true. Believe me. Because all the bread depends on the baker's hand. It's not about you have the recipe. Yeah, we can see the recipe anywhere, right? Even in the how many YouTubers, they give a very nice recipe for bread. They give this one. You can find any recipe book as well how to make a bread, but the process, you need talent for this one. Always remember that. That's why I was teaching you now what is the right process. So one by one step, I'm teaching you so that you will learn something from me because I experienced this one. How many years I'm baking, how many years I'm making a bread and cakes. That's why I share all my experience to you so that you can learn something from me. Because I'm your teacher. I am your Chef Deborah, the baking instructor, your teacher. Okay? Let's go to the number 3 steps in bread making. This is a bulk and first fermentation. Okay, bulk and first fermentation means this is the first rest. You need to rest the dough. After mixing, you need to put the dough in a bowl. You put some oil all over the bowl so that not stick the dough to the bowl. And then you have to form like a balls, you know, but must be smoother. Form very smoothly. Because if you put it not smoothly and you did not stretch like a smooth ball, and you put it, proof it or ferment this one in the proofer or anywhere, it can be also proof at room temperature, even you don't have proofer. It become different, you know, the texture of your bread. If you not make it properly, smoothly, okay, so that you always remember, bulk fermentation also is very important, okay? Okay, after the first fermentation, number 4 steps is punching or punch down, or they called it sometimes folding. You know, if the dough is already coming big, right? Because you already ferment for at least 45 minutes or 40 minutes like this. When you need to punch down the dough, you know, to release the carbon dioxide over the dough, inside the dough. Okay, don't forget to punch down the dough. You need to punch down. Punch down. Same like you are punching your wife or your boyfriend. Just kidding. If you are angry to your husband and you want to punch him in his face, it's same like that punching. Don't afraid to the dough, to punch the dough. Okay, because if you did not punch the dough, the carbon dioxide will not release. Okay? So it cannot distribute it also like this inside the dough. Because this is very important also. Punching, very important in dough making or bread making. Okay? Let's go to number 5 step is dividing or shaping the dough. Of course, after punching the dough, you need to divide the dough. You have to scale again how many grams you want to make your bread. For example, you want 50 grams, you want 80 grams, 120 grams. It depends on what you need. Okay, you have to measure it. Why? Why we need to measure or scale the dough, its dough? Because we need to be uniform in size. You know, I don't like to eat dinner roll. One is big, and you are selling one is big, one is small. You cannot sell this in your bakery. For example, also, you cannot sell um, for example, a pandesal or soft roll, whatever bread, in different size. You need to be uniform in size. That's why we need to scale the dough one by one before shaping. So it depends on you also how you want, what shape do you want. If you want star shape, if you can make a dough, star shaped dough, it depends on you. If you can make a dough like elephant, it depends on you. Okay? Because some people also making animal shaped bread. You know, it's very popular in the Philippines like that. Animal shaped bread. Some are peas, some are ducks also, some are elephant, horse, or whatever kind of animals. They are shaping, they are selling this one in the Philippines because I saw some in some bakery as well. That's why I'm telling, whatever shape do you want to your dough, it depends on you. Whatever quantity or whatever weight do you want, it depends also on you. But what I'm telling is you need to be uniform in size. Not big, not small. Not different size. You cannot sell this one to your customer if the size is different. Okay? Okay, number 7 step is benching. It depends what you are making, okay? It depends also on the bread. Sometimes me, if I make dinner roll, I directly shaping the dough after punching. But some items that need to rest or benching before you shape, there are some bread like this, okay? When you are benching, you need to rest, you need to rest your dough again in your working table for 20 to 30 minutes before shaping, because there are some bread that you need to rest again before you shape it. But me, when I'm making a bread roll or whatever, I'm directly shaping my dough. But there are some bread, as I told you, that required a benching time. Okay? Number 8 is panning. Panning or shaping as well. Because sometimes me, I'm not following this. For example, I'm not making, it's not called in the recipe. So, when I'm doing, for example, it depends on what bread you are making, of course. Panning means if you are making a sliced bread, you need to put it in the baking pan. That's what we call panning. Okay? You need to put it in baking pan so that become a loaf bread. This is what we call panning, okay, and shaping. Okay, you understand now. Shaping and panning. Panning means you have to put or shape it in your baking pan. For example, also is the French bread or the baguette. Of course, after I'm rolling my baguette, I need to put it in the perforated baguette form or baguette mold so that the shape will not come in different shape. It must be straight. Okay, that's why there is a form or mold for baguette. This is what I mean. Also, you can use also the kitchen towel as well. You have to fold it like this if you can see. But I cannot demonstrate to you now. But this is what we call, I want to explain to you only what is shaping and panning. Okay? So guys, we are now in the number 9 step. Number 9 step is the final fermentation or final resting after shaping the dough. Okay, after shaping the dough, we need to rest again for another 45 minutes your dough before putting in the oven or before baking. Always remember that after shaping, you cannot direct baking your bread. You need to wait again for another 45 minutes. Sometimes it's not 45 minutes. It depends on the activity. It depends on the activity of your yeast, because yeast is alive, you know. Some yeast is quickly rise. Even I'm started only shaping, my yeast is already rise. There are some bread like this. It also depends on the prover, because the temperature of the proofer also affects very quickly rise, because there is a heat inside the proofer. But if it is outside only at room temperature, it takes little more time than with the use of the proofer. Okay? And also, I give you one tip, guys. Don't depend on time also. A chef or a baker must see. She must see how the texture of the ready dough. How is the texture of ready to bake dough? You will see by your two eyes. If you have experience, if you know already how to do it, you don't rely on time. I'm not relying on time actually. I'm only looking with my eyes. Only I see this dough, I already say, yeah, it's ready. Okay, put it in the oven. Like this. It depends on how you manage your bread making. It depends on the person also who manages or who making the bread. Okay? But as a beginner, you must rely on time. Because if you not rely on time, you will make mistake. It depends also on the tools that you are using. That's why sometimes bread making is very different, It's coming very difficult. They get always sometimes inconsistency of the products. Because if the baker or the chef don't know the right procedure, it will be not coming good, as I told you earlier. Number 10 is baking. Now, our dough is ready to bake. But, always remember, preheat the oven before baking. If you need 200 degrees for your bread, okay, 200 degrees Celsius, preheat the oven. And it's very important also that your oven have a humidifier or there is a steam inside. You know why? Because so that your bread become more soft. This is one of the secret also. If you want a very moist bread and not dry, put some steam in your oven. So if your oven is not automatic and don't have a steamer, okay, all you need to do in a bowl, just put water in a bowl and put this bowl inside the oven together with your dough. Okay, this is one tip that I give you because this one gives moisture to your bread. Okay, always remember that. But some bread don't need this steam. It depends also on the bread that you are making. This usually using with the sourdough. Sourdough bread needs steam. Baguette, French bread. Okay, but in soft roll, I'm not using this steam. No, I'm not using. Because if you use steam in baguette and French bread or sourdough, it become crusty. It become crisp outside. Okay, outside the bread. It gives crispiness of the bread outside. That's why it needs steam. Because if your bread is not crisp outside, this is not baguette. This is not French bread. This is not sourdough. Okay, because these are the lean dough. They don't have oil. They don't have fats inside the bread. That's why they need moisture so that it will not become dry. Understand that, okay? Number 11 step is cooling. What is cooling? Of course, after baking, finish the baking, you take out already your bread from the oven. Of course, before serving this one, you need to cool down your bread, of course. Right? You need to cool down the bread before storage. Before you put it or before you store your bread, you need to cool down first. Or before removing also to the baking pan, you need to cool down your bread first. Always remember that, guys, okay? So number 12 step, this is the last step. Of course, storage. How do you store your bread? What you need to do to keep your bread fresh? Okay, of course, you need to store your bread in the airtight container so that it keep fresh. Okay, so this is the last part of the step of bread making. So I hope you learned something. This is the process that I'm doing in making a bread. I just follow all these steps one by one, but of course it depends also on my knowledge and skills. But this tips I give you because this is the way I started. This is the way I did it. But as you bake many times and you know already the tricks, how to handle your dough, because dough is like a baby. You know, when I'm touching the dough, it's like my baby. Really, you put this like this in your hand, like a baby. Yeah, you cannot carry it like this, because if you are very, your hand is not what you call this. It's not soft. Also, you need to be gentle. You know, it's like you are touching your baby very gently. Or it's like you are touching your boyfriend gently, or your girlfriend, or your wife, or your husband. Must be gently. The same like what you need to do to a dough, because dough, you need to take care of the dough. Okay, because if you not take care of the dough, all is coming not good your bread. That's why I teach you. I want you to learn from me something about bread making, because there are questions that I receive that how did I make my dough or my bread softer and nicely. So I'm not using, even I'm using only my hand as kneading for kneading the dough, or I'm only using electric mixer, hand mixer only when I'm doing my video, because here in Dubai, I don't have stand mixer here at home. I'm only using my hand kneading and only the hand mixer with this one, the hook attachment. Sorry, yeah, with the hook attachment. But still, I can make a soft bread. You know, if you have, even you have good machinery, you have very nice equipment. If you don't know what is the process, you cannot do it also. You know, even I only have my two hands. I only have two hands. I can do it nicely because it depends on your experience, how to handle your dough. That's why I'm teaching you right now. I hope you learned something from me today. And again, this is Chef Deborah. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me in Instagram and Facebook page. And of course, don't forget also to click the bell so that you will notify in every videos that I uploaded in my YouTube channel. Thank you guys once again. I hope you learned something from me. Subscribe and click the bell.